Ladies and gentlemen, it finally happened. The biggest crossover event in video game history. That's right, Anna Spelunky is finally available in Fall Guys. And there's also something to do with the Sky and Smash Brothers, I guess, but it doesn't matter.
I don't know, something about disappointing millions of fans all at the same time.
And exciting millions of other fans, but...
Yeah, I heard that they added the Kingdom Hearts kid to Smash. I should check those games out.
No!
No.
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 Do yourself a favour and don't do that.
Do us all a favour and don't do that.
So yes, this is actually Doctor Who reviews, not video game reviews. And this time around, we are looking at the 10th Doctor episode from Series 4, Midnight. And oh my goodness, this one. This is harrowing.
This is totally not a big representation of how the world currently is, especially in America.
No, not at all. I mean, there are episodes. This is an experience. This is an event almost. Goodness, it almost transcends being an episode. As I say, it's harrowing. This causes anxiety in me sometimes when I watch it, which is probably not a good thing for me because I have had problems with anxiety in the past. But there you go.
I'm currently having problems with anxiety.
Food.
But yeah, so this was the I mean, you will get through it because I managed to get through mine and with some help.
I managed to get through Love and Fucking Monsters. So I think I'm fine.
Well, this is a lot better than that. It's probably more psychologically scarring than that, but it's a lot better than that.
Yes,
It's like this episode and Blink, I would say, are the two that most show exactly what the 10th Doctor is about.
Oh yes, and probably one of Russell T Davies' finest writing performances.
Wow, Russell T Davies. I wonder why we're talking about him.
Do you know he wrote this in 3 days?
Did he really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's incredible.
So to talk to me then about Midnight, I'm joined by my two usual co-hosts, and I'm totally not angry at them for leaving me out of the previous episode, not at all. No. To my virtual left, always thought he was losing the race, looking for love in all the wrong places, is Freezing Inferno.
Surprise, this is a video game review show. I beat Metroid Dread in a day and it was worth it.
I still have to beat the other 4 Metro games before I can even think about touching Dread, but it's good to know that everyone that I know that has played it is singing its praises. Apart from Kotaku, who got people to try and pirate it, because, of course.
All right then, that's an interesting stance.
Let's not go there because I'll get too mad about it. And to my virtual right, she was born to run. She don't belong to anyone. It's Kat.
I mean, I belong to myself, hopefully.
And I totally didn't forget these intros the first time around. Don't know what you're talking about. So.
Clearly not.
See, I wasn't going to do that joke. You did it for me, so thank you.
See, you're not gonna hear anything to the contrary at the end in the blooper reel. No.
No, it's fine.
No, not at all. You can probably still hear traces in my voice of the cold that kept me out of the recording last week, but it's fine.
Cold, totally not being trapped in a circle of mirrors.
Well, both could have happened simultaneously.
Yeah.
A lot of things happen simultaneously. You know, Rain being trapped in a big circle of mirrors, me going in and filling his room with mirrors, you know, just random stuff.
I'm sorry, what was that second bit?
You being trapped in a circle of mirrors?
No, that was the first bit. There was a very important second bit in there.
Oh, random stuff happening at the same time.
I think I'm being messed with here, but never mind. So we begin then with the beautiful planet of Midnight and Donna refusing to go with the Doctor. Good start.
Hey.
Because we talked about this and I'm sorry, Kathy, Love and Monsters podcast, but knew who early on liked to do Doctor White stories. Well, this is This is sort of a balance because the Dr. Light story is the very next one. Turn left. Jesus Christ, how horrifying. This is a companion light episode because Donna refuses to go on this tour with the Doctor and just sort of lounges by the pool for 45 minutes.
This is a Catherine Tate had something better to do story.
Lounge by the pool for 45 minutes.
That's something being recording turn left.
Yes, yes.
Which, in fairness, is also an amazing episode.
Jesus Christ, how horrifying.
Oh yeah, totally horrifying, but it's a great episode.
Gotta love your existential horror because the ending of the 10th Doctor is in only a couple of episodes. Or, well...
Yeah, it's like
sort
four,
of.
like 3 episodes from this and a couple of specials.
Yeah.
So, while we're doing that, the Doctor's going to go on a tour to see a sapphire waterfall. And we mentioned and this is going to come up, the exotonic sunlight of Planet Midnight, which will burn you to death if you don't shield yourself. With,
Oh, it won't just burn you to death, it will reduce you to dust.
Yeah. All right, he's going to go on a tour, and he says, what could possibly go wrong? Always sign a title card. Everything goes wrong.
Pretty much.
Bunch of complete strangers on a bus journey across the desert. What could possibly go wrong?
Everything go wrong.
Everything.
Starting with the fact that the whole thing is not going to be following the usual planned route. Apparently something happened, so now they have to follow a new route. Goody!
Which they've never taken before.
Gee, wonder why.
That's not a red flag at all, is it, Steve?
No, Joe. Joe's...
Fine. We also meet the we meet the other inhabitants of the truck or the bus or the shuttle, whatever you want to call it.
Shuttle bus.
Yeah, shuttle bus is fine. We have the hostess who gives earplugs, slippers, and juice and peanuts to everybody.
It's a fun gag. She's like to the Doctor, here's your complimentary earplugs, earphones, vidphone, blah, 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 blah. And then the peanuts, and she's like, a warning, some complimentary products may contain peanuts.
Well, no, I think she says some of the complimentary products may contain nuts. And you say something like, not the peanuts, though, right?
Yeah.
That'll be the peanuts then.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not as good as the real life situation of Marks and Spencer's chicken sandwich warning contains chicken, but it's pretty good.
So tell us about some of these other passengers.
Warning, Doctor Who sometimes contains the Doctor.
Well, not the next episode, but...
Not the next...
I said sometimes. Pay attention.
I am paying attention. Stop sassing me, please. So...
I will sass you all I want, bitch.
The other passengers then, we've got basically 2 groups. We've got Val, Biff, and their teenage rebel son, Jethro.
I'm sorry, Jethro? I think you mean Merlin?
Yeah.
I was going to say, he's the same actor that played Merlin.
Like, I wanted to mention this because here in Newfoundland, we've got a channel called NTV, and Merlin is like their big Sunday night thing. Like every week, they're hyping up Merlin. It's like a new Merlin this Sunday. I'm like, oh my god! Every week I have to see Big Ear Merlin here.
Big Ear Merlin.
He's got some Christopher Eccleston size ears. This kid.
He really does have really big ears.
So we have those 3. And we also have Professor Hobbs and Dee Dee. Dee Dee Blasco,
smart one.
his assistant, and something very interesting about Professor Hobbs, or perhaps the actor playing Professor Hobbs. This is the son of Patrick Troughton.
Really?
The son of Patrick Troughton that was in the Curse of Paladin.
Oh, yeah, David Troughton.
And he wasn't supposed to be in this episode. Because
Why?
The actor Sam Kelly was actually cast as Professor Hobbs, and then he broke his leg.
Is this the same guy who was also in Last Christmas?
No, that's the other Troughton brother.
Oh, that's the other Troughton.
Hmm.
But is this the same Troughton that was in Curse of Paladin?
Yes.
Okay. You and I
Cool.
have covered that one, but Kat hasn't covered
He was a
that
much
one.
younger man then, but
Yeah.
yes.
It's an interesting story. probably
And
really
it also
gonna.
leads to a bit of a continuity mix-up because, yeah, all right, it's strange that he was a replacement because the bus is called the Crusader 50.
Continuity mix-up. What is this, Doctor Who?
And there was something to do with the 50 is because of David Troughton or something like that. Well, actually, no. The 50 was supposed to be the 50th episode in the modern era of Doctor Who, because this was supposed to be episode 8 before Silence in the Library and Forest of the Dead. But it was then moved to episode 10, making it the 52nd episode of Doctor Who. Oh dear.
Oh well.
Oops.
But it is
What are
the
you gonna
50th
do?
episode to be filmed, so it still technically works.
Close.
Technically.
Close enough.
Close enough, yeah. We almost got it. We're almost the 50th. Woo!
Well, we got one passenger, so we'll chat with them in a bit.
Oh yes, we did forget one passenger. Well, I was perhaps deliberately keeping them for last because I said there was 2 groups, and then there's a sole passenger on her own.
Sky.
Sky Silvestri. Can't believe she got added to Smash Bros, guys. I've been waiting 10 minutes to launch to get that punchline to that gag. Not disappointed. So
Wait. I've been waiting for a gag, and you're gonna get it in a minute. But well, so the hostess starts just playing a whole bunch of shit, just like contemporary
Betty Boop gets played.
Yeah.
public domain cartoons. Some ladies singing who I don't know who this is. Like some other bull. It's just a cacophony of fucking noise on this train.
Hey, Chibnall. Guess what? Remember that really horrible joke that you made about the Wi-Fi being out and people having to talk to each other? This is how you fucking do it right.
I was going to do this, and he just took it right up from under me.
Fuck yes, I did. It
And
still
now-
pisses me
And
off.
now she's mirroring you.
Fuck.
No, we're gonna get plenty of mirror.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
The entire
you know.
second half of this episode is a mirror alert.
Oh yeah. We're gonna hit the button when we get there. So.
You're assuming a lot. I'm still in control of the buttons.
True.
Well, okay. Let me rephrase. We're going to politely request you hit the button when we get to that part.
Thank you.
I love how this is my podcast technically, and I'm not in control of my own show.
But yeah. The doctor sonics off all this shit, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's all crashed. What are we gonna do?" And the doctor's like, "Well, I guess we're just gonna have to talk to each other." It's the same thing. I suppose we're going to have a conversation.
But it's done right.
Yeah, it's done right because
Yeah.
it's not talking down to the audience.
It's not old boomer like on his phone. Like these kids today on their telephones, they don't know what a book is.
It's not news just for a cheap throwaway gag. It's news to actually drive the episode on to get the characters to get to know each other. And we get these rather cute little scenes where Val and Biff are going through their holiday adventures and telling everyone else on the shuttle. And their son is bored to absolute tears, but it's still quite cute.
There's a lot of fun little moments, like when the doctor sonics off all the stuff, Sky notices and they share a little smile. And then, like you said, when Biff is telling this story, you see it cuts to Jethro, and he's mouthing the punchline, and he's rolling his eyes because he's heard his father tell the story 1,000 times before. The poo was abstract.
Yeah. There's also a neat little scene after that where because it keeps cutting to black and saying 98 clicks later, 100 clicks later. We get a bit of expansion on Dee Dee and why she's with the professor. It turns out she's just a second-year student. But believe it or not, what she wrote about to become his assistant is later used as a plot point in the series finale.
Oh shit!
The Lost Moon of Poosh.
Hey, where'd it go? 1 second of tough phase with the rest of reality.
Yeah,
That's
and there's she basically says, well, I'm his assistant, but really I'm just fetching and carrying for him. she's like a drudge, but she's an assistant.
Can I say a little something about this? So, because we're gonna get into it a little bit later as well, but the professor is very derogatory towards her this entire time. You know, like when they first met the doctor, he stood up and was like, "Hello, I'm the professor. I am here to do blah 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 blah." And then as soon as Dee Dee tries to introduce herself, "Don't bother the man. What are you doing?"
Yeah.
Nice.
And it's like he keeps telling her to shut up and that she doesn't know anything and she thinks she's an expert on mechanics and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, wow, thanks, patriarchy.
Oh, God. I mean, happily, my experience of university professors, I didn't really meet somebody like that, but I absolutely know there are people out there in academia like that, so...
Well, yeah. But he's very much, he's like the entirety of the patriarchy and also the white older men who think that people of color don't know what they're talking about.
Oh God.
So he's like a whole big wrapped up little thing. Honestly, this whole thing is a big study on human interaction, and it's fascinating because
It really
you can follow
is.
any of the little tidbits that they give you and just go down a huge rabbit hole.
It is so different to other Doctor Who episodes out there, and I think that's what makes it so good.
It's like this episode is why I'm so excited for Russell T Davies to come back, because if he could do this but better, holy shit.
We can only hope, can't we?
Yeah.
I do like the moment that the Doctor and Sky share together, where they're just having lunch together and talking. And Sky is here because she broke up with her partner, her lady partner.
Well, I think her partner broke up with her, really.
Yeah, well, that's the way. Yeah. There's a fun line. Yeah, she moved to a different galaxy. I guess that's space enough. And then it's just like, I had a friend who moved to a different universe.
There's also a neat little joke about, oh, is this chicken or beef? I think it's both.
Yeah.
Oh, it's too bad that Sky is the only known gay character on the entire bus.
Oh my God, you're right.
Not that
Wow.
I'm trying to say anything
I
about
hate
what
that you're
happened
right,
at
but
the
you're
end.
right.
Wow, the Chibnall era really did take from the RTD era, huh?
I mean, I was about to say that the reason why Sky's a good character is that, yeah, she's got an ex-girl, well, an ex-wife, actually.
Yeah.
But there's more to it than just, this is the gay character.
Oh yeah, there's a lot more. It's just I'm also pointing this out because, you know, obviously RTD isn't perfect in everything he does. And it's like, even though he's part of the community, he still has to sometimes follow these tropes or listen to people or something like that.
He did write Love and Monsters.
Yeah, don't remind me.
And then the next scene that we get before everything starts to go wrong is the professor giving a lecture, essentially. He's got like a projector set up, or well, as you know, he hasn't, because no, he has, because he says DD next slide.
Yeah,
So
he's got like a little slideshow projector.
he's got a projector somehow, even though the entertainment system failed. And he's like saying, so this is midnight, out there, it's pure radiation. Nothing could possibly survive out there. Hint, hint. He says, this planet is kind of what my research has been building to. It's my life's work, and I find it fascinating. And then Jeffrey has to ruin it, saying, I mean, how do you know there's nothing out there if no one can go outside? Now, he has a point, but he must have seen enough horror films to know you don't say that.
Honestly, the characters are so good in this. It's like his parents are like the perfect overbearing parents who just, are super embarrassing. He himself is like the perfect teenage, drama king who is goth. Dee Dee's fantastic as the sort of put down but still, very knowledgeable student, while the professor's very arrogant and thinks he knows best. Sky is fantastic.
And everything
It's like, even
goes
when
to
she's
shit.
not herself, she's still fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we'll get to what makes Sky such a fascinating character later on,
Yes.
but
Yes, that's the only reason I'm holding off.
I do think that Leslie Sharp gives one of the performances of the modern era.
Oh, yeah.
she's just amazing at what she's asked to do. And there's some
And
fascinating
then
behind the scenes about how she managed to pull it off.
everything goes to shit.
Yeah, everything goes to
Yeah.
shit. So in the middle of the lecture, the shuttle just stops. And the hostess is feeding some bullshit to this. Oh, it's fine, everyone. You know, the drones are stabilizing the engines. And Dee Dee's like, hang on a minute. You don't need to stabilize the engines on a shuttle like this. Well, how the hell do you know?
Well, that happens after. First, there's some stuff in between that you're missing out
Oh
on.
yes, sorry.
Because the doctor waltzes in there. He uses his psychic, and he's just like, okay, I'm authorized to come in here. And he starts talking to the drivers.
Yes, we meet our other
And
two
they-
characters, Driver Joe and Mechanic Claude.
They give him the bullshit about stabilizing the engine, and he's like, oh, well, that panel there is the engine line, and that's fine. Besides, you don't need to stabilize the engine. It's what happens. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Basically, everything is working fine. They can't figure out why they've stopped.
But they have
It's
called for help.
really weird.
Yeah.
And then the doctor says, well, you know, why don't we take a peek outside? We've got a couple minutes with the shielding, so we could take a quick little peek. It's little. Nobody's ever been on this path before. And so they open it up, they take a look at the diamond-studded landscape, and Claude sees something move. They also mentioned that the computer automatically worked out this whole detour. So no one really has been here before, so...
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, White Diamond comes in, and Blue Diamond also, and then there's Yellow Diamond, and they all want them to join them at the palace.
Oh my god. I was
It's an
about
entire planet made of diamonds. I had to.
I was about to say that the mechanic actually gets a rather poetic line when he's looking out into the out to the planet's surface, and he says, "Look at all those diamonds, poisoned by the sun. No one can ever touch them." I mean, it's interesting that a character like the mechanic gets that line.
So they shut the shutter, though Claude sees a shadow. And so the doctor heads on out, and Guy's not happy about the delay. The doctor, this is the scene you were talking about. He says, "Oh, okay, everything's fine, stabilize." And Dee Dee says, "Yeah, but wait, this engine doesn't need stabilization."
That's
And,
right. Now Dee Dee sort of sees through the sham.
And then we get our first mass panic among these people.
We're gonna die of lack of oxygen. Oh no!
Everyone's talking over each other. Yeah, Biff's wife is just like, "Oh my god, is there enough air? Do we have enough air here? Oh my god, what's going on? What's going on? Are we gonna die? Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god." And everyone's arguing and shouting, and so the doctor finally has to yell, "Be quiet, everybody!" And then tells Dee Dee to explain, okay, we've got a recycling air filter. We can breathe here for 10 years if we need to. But then we get a knocking.
Oh no, it's John Sim.
Tapping on my chamber door.
It's kind of mental how, just a few episodes later, knocking would be an integral part of the story.
Oh, we're going to talk about that in just a second, but, there's knocking. Everyone's like, is there something out there? And the professor's like, it's absolutely impossible for someone or something to be outside. That's tectonic sunlight. It's impossible. But the knocking, whatever it is trying the door and is moving around the car. And so Biff checks the door and he's like, oh, no, it's cast iron. Nothing's going to get in. And he knocks on it 3 times. And then whatever's outside knocks 3 times.
On the ceiling if you want me.
It just mirrored Biff's knocking. But I'm not gonna.
No, not yet. Not till it makes its actual appearance.
I am going to say something. Ryan, why did you pick the episode where nothing happens but mirroring?
Because it's a really good episode.
He's never gonna drop it.
At some point, we had to cover it.
Yeah. This one's not on me, y'all. This one's not on me.
I'm not going to apologize. More people should know about Midnight.
Yeah, this is true. Also, after I finished watching this, I told Chris a very small bit about it, and she's like, okay, we're immediately watching this.
Good choice.
Haven't yet, but we will.
Oh,
Chris has good taste.
So then the doctor walks up to the door, and this is the weird moment echoing back to the future, he knocks 4 times.
Yep.
In case you didn't know, is a motif that runs in the 10th Doctor's specials.
So even as far as early as this, Russell T already had the idea.
So the knocking keeps going around the cabin. Sky starts having a panic attack. As the knocking...
And then oddly enough, this happens.
FBI, open up!
If only it were the FBI. No, that's...
No, it's worse than the FBI.
No, it's worse
Now,
than the FBI.
I'm not saying you're bad, Tom. You're a fantastic personal FBI agent. I'm just talking about the FBI in general. It's terrible. Okay? Okay.
You make this joke every 20 episodes, and I still laugh at it.
What would be really funny is if I had a male voice that would just be like, yeah, it's okay. And you had no idea where it came from.
No, see, Chris Chibnall called the cops on us because we know season 13 exists. We'll be talking about that at the end of the episode. And hopefully we won't get a cease and desisted for knowing that season 13 exists.
That's a definitely tweet.
We've been cancelled now because we know it exists.
What, again? God damn it.
Again, yeah.
This is like the 5th time. We're in a permanent state of cancellation, like endless cycle. An ever-repeating loop.
It's bad. That's 6 times. 6 times. There you go.
Yeah. What the hell was I going to talk about? Oh, yeah. So this...
The Sky freaking the fuck out.
Yeah, Sky thinks that this is somehow sent by her ex-wife. She said she'd get me. Just a little detail that kind of gets missed by some people.
Okay.
Anyway, it's coming for me. It's coming for me.
Honestly,
Oh God! Scream!
That's really interesting.
Scream, and then silence. And then the shuttle basically half explodes. The sparks. It's rocking back and forth. The entertainment system somehow comes online despite being turned off. And who should appear on it but Rose Tyler?
Oh, damn. He put on an episode of Doctor Who. How about that?
This is the recurring, or one of the recurring arcs of Series 4. Rose popping up to try and find the Doctor and failing.
I don't know how many times they repeated it before.
I think this was the 3rd time.
Okay.
Maybe.
It wasn't
All I can say is this little scene is very, very awkward for me. Because it's like, you have the Doctor in the foreground. He's like, I think he said something like, is everybody okay or something? And then he just stands there, sort of like heaving as we focus in on Rose in the background. And it's like, so what's the Doctor doing while he's waiting for this to finish? He's just sort of standing there. I mean,
Who knows?
Do something.
It's the first time that the Doctor's actually been present for the cameo, but he doesn't see it.
Yeah.
Because of course he doesn't see it.
That would fuck with the situation entirely. If you see them.
So what the hell's happened to the shuttle then? Was it an earthquake? No, that's impossible because the ground is solid. So what the heck could have caused that to happen to the shuttle? So the hostess, when on board a plane, Rain, the hostess gets torches for everyone, or says, torches are on in front of you on the back of the seat. But what has happened to Sky? Because
all the seats are ripped up.
Yeah,
and she's just sitting there in the fetal position, back turned to everybody.
Yep.
And what about the driver and the mechanic? Oh, they're gone.
They're gone.
Yeah, they're gone.
Yeah, the hostess tries to contact them on the radio. She opens the door, and there's a huge burst of extonic sunlight. She just manages to close it before everyone is reduced to dust. So the cabin containing the driver and the mechanic is completely gone. They have been Thanos out of existence.
Jesus.
Which now makes the decision to have the mechanic say that very poetic line even more interesting.
Yeah. But, the Doctor's like, okay, so that kind of sucks, but we're still fine. They sent a distress signal beforehand, so all we gotta do is lay low for like an hour. We'll be fine. Help is on the way. We'll be just
Yeah.
fine.
It's just
Sky?
too bad that Sky is
Sky?
still there.
And now we get the second half of the story.
And I'm going to say right now, if you have never seen Midnight ever before, and you're using these reviews as ways to sort of learn about the episodes, stop right now.
Switch this up right
Go
now.
fucking watch it.
Because my god, this defies all description.
Yeah. It's
We
all done.
cannot give you a good idea of exactly what's going to happen because there is so much nuance. There are so many things that happen that we cannot properly describe them for you. Go watch it and then come back. We will wait.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We're here for you. Okay.
So,
Well, are you scared out of your mind yet? Holy shit,
you
what an episode, right?
You should be. Do not watch this episode last thing at night.
Did I
Yeah,
ever tell you?
especially not like how I did when it was during the middle of the night.
Did I ever tell the story on the podcast of how a friend of the show, Blaze Fury, first saw the episode Blink?
If you have, I've forgotten it.
I might have done it when we did the Angels retrospective, but I'll tell it again. So, friend of the show, Blaze Fury, a friend of mine, was visiting me the night that episode aired on TV here in Canada. And we watched it, and we were, naturally fucking terrified of the Weeping Angels as they were first introduced. Then, after that, my friend, Blaze Fury, had to walk home. A 25-minute walk in the dark.
The dark. Alone.
And I live, and I want to stress, we live in the middle of nowhere. When I say the dark, I don't mean the dark with a street light every.
Oh no, he means the dark. He means like serial killer darkness.
Fucking blackness. He even told me at some point when I relayed the story to him that he thought he was being chased by a wild animal at some point.
Oh my god.
Like he thought he could sense a wild animal out there in the woods. Like middle of nowhere dark for 5 minutes at a time. That kind of shit. Immediately after watching Blink for the first time. Try to imagine.
That's
Yay
horrific.
For him.
Horrific, yeah.
That's absolutely horrifying.
And I would argue that episode, scary as it is, I would argue Midnight is the scariest episode of Doctor Who.
Oh yeah.
I mean, in terms of psychological horror, yes.
Yeah, that's the kind of horror I go for. So yeah.
Yeah, because see, Blink, you have rules that you can follow, and you can understand exactly ways to defeat the monster. There's nothing here. There's so much ambiguity, and it's perfect.
Yeah.
I am swimming in that. But...
Ambiguity is absolutely the right call here.
So
and
let's
it's
talk
definitely one
about
of those
what
things
we
that
do
should
here.
not be answered.
Someone muses about the fact that they can't hear the noise anymore, and since Sky is catatonic, they're like, "What if the noise isn't outside, but inside?"
Oh yeah, Jethro is
Sky.
having a ball terrorizing people right now.
I mean,
So
he's
Sky
the
is
goth rebel kid. Of course he is.
Yeah, he's got painted nails even. Like, I remember the one time I had a zombified goth costume for Halloween, and I had those exact same black nail polish painted nails. That's just what I think of whenever I see black painted nails like that. But Sky is creepily and vacantly staring at everyone before focusing on the Doctor, and then it begins.
Oh my god. So, Sky, looking like what you can see on the screen right now, you can already tell right away that a transformation is taking place. She looks nothing like she did. I mean, there's no huge change to her physical appearance. It's just like makeup and lighting.
It's not even just the makeup and lighting, it's also her acting.
Oh yeah.
She feels like a wild animal trapped in a corner.
I do like the fact that when they're pulling on the reveal, you almost think that her face is like melted or something because they do a dramatic turn.
Yeah.
Like Sky, are you okay? And it's like, but
that's the real terror. The real terror is not something that changes you. The real terror is something that takes your face.
Oh yeah.
Oh damn.
Oh god. Yeah.
And and it's at this point that she starts the main gimmick of the story.
Mimicry.
in which she repeats whatever anyone says.
Yeah. And he does mean, when he says what anyone says, he means anyone. Anyone's still alive in this episode. In the shuttle. If someone says something, she will turn to them and repeat it back to them.
It is very interesting, especially later on, but it's just amazing because she kind of knows, like, sort of like the feelings of all these people, and eventually she knows what they're going to say, and it's such a weird feeling, but it's like perfect in the way that it's presented. It's like, holy crap, RTD.
Jesus.
I'm terrified.
Yeah, so she's nailing the exact tone and all, and the doctor, well, this is the 10th doctor, of course, so he has to think out loud, as the doctor often does. He's like, what are you doing? Are you learning? Are you copying? Are you absorbing? And he starts babbling stuff, and then he starts saying the digits of pi, rapid fire, and she just perfectly is in sync with him, matching it. Well, not perfectly in sync. Not exactly perfectly in sync. Just a little off.
She's got a bit of delay because she's following him. But even though they're talking over each other, she still recites it perfectly.
Yeah. And I mean, we got to give props to the actress, of course, because, she had to learn that shit. She had to learn to match these performances absolutely fucking perfectly. And she nailed it. She fucking nailed it.
Oh, yeah.
So now we'll talk about how she did this.
Yes.
Yeah, the behind the scenes of how the hell Leslie Sharp was able to mimic everyone's lines so perfectly in time.
She was just very, very good at it?
ADR.
No. It was all done live.
Oh my god, really?
There were hidden
That's even more
screens.
impressive.
There were hidden auto-prompt screens next to each of the actors when they cut away to Sky. So she's reading the lines next to them, so it looks like she's looking at the actor.
Oh my god.
And then when Sky, or whatever the hell Sky has become now, takes to the next level, that becomes even more impressive because, well, we'll touch on that in a moment.
Well, we're gonna get to that. But yeah, we like I said, just going through it in a review format doesn't really capture.
It doesn't do this justice, but we have to.
That's why we told you to watch the thing.
Yeah,
because,
we have to do it this way for the purpose of our podcast.
Us just saying, oh, she starts repeating these people, and on a delay. It has no impact compared to actually sitting there with the atmosphere, with the tension and shit.
But the absolute amazing one is when they've got the doctor's trying to say the square root of pi, and he rattles off a 30-digit number, and Sky copies it perfectly.
Yeah, like I said, that's the real part. Was like, wait, that's how is she doing that? Like in the story, how the fuck is she doing that?
And that was the hardest. That was the hardest thing that they had to do in the thing, was to get the numbers right.
3.141592653987.
Because remember, they're talking over each other at this point as well.
Oh shit! I used to know it, and now I don't remember it.
See, I only remember up to 3.
It's not pi; it's the square root of pi.
Oh,
which you won't know.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't, but I remember pi at least.
In the shuttle car, so that's good. And oh, hey, wait, she's not repeating now, but why does my voice sound funny? Oh,
yeah, this is
Sky has evolved. She is now not talking and repeating what everyone says on a delay. She is saying it at the exact time they say it.
And this is where the
reveal
acting...
of this is fantastic, because the doctor's like, we gotta, try to figure this out, and everybody's like freaking out, and the professor says, okay, everybody calm down, we'll think this through rationally. And then you just look over to Jethro, and Jethro is staring at Sky, and he says, doctor, and the doctor's like, I know, because she is speaking at the same time as the professor is.
Yeah. The professor's saying, we need to calm down. This poor woman's in a state of... And then you hear Sky with him, self-induced hysteria. We should leave her alone. Oh!
And can I say, the best part about this episode is they've stopped focusing on Sky by this point. They stopped going
Yeah.
back and forth, and they start focusing more and more on the other passengers, and you could still hear Sky's voice overlaid over their voice. It's like, oh my god, that's so cool.
It is so
now that we've
creepy.
hit this point, I think, Kat, if you would please hit the button.
All right, I'll push the button just for you.
I mean, that does sum up Rainiac's state of mind, but
All right, I'll push the real button.
Doctor Who Near Alert. Doctor Who Near Alert.
beautiful.
What do you mean by state of mind? I love this episode. If I'm screaming, it's because it's creeping me the hell out, but it's still a fantastic watch.
Yes, but also, it's
Yeah.
your nemesis taking form.
And
Either way, the doctor's like, okay, maybe we should let's all go into the back. We'll, wait it out. We only have this much time until the shuttle comes to pick us up. We'll take her back. We'll get her looked at. Make sure she's okay. All we have to do is just stay calm and stay back here. And from the back, you hear this horrible voice say, "Throw her out."
But before that, we got to talk about this scene where David Tennant is testing the synchronization with Sky.
I was trying to keep up with the drama, but if you want to go to the comedy, sure.
I mean, we have to talk about
Well,
the scene because
It is comedy, but also I feel it's thematically appropriate because it's playing around with the 10th Doctor's, shall we say, hubris? That even though
Yeah.
he's telling them, we probably should stay back.
something Time Lord Victorious.
Yeah, we should probably stay back and not talk to Sky, even though he can't resist testing the synchronization, going wibble wobble bibble bobble, Donna Noble TARDIS.
I've got the entire transcript. If that would help.
Well, no, you get the idea.
See,
You
that
get the
would
idea.
be helpful. However, we are running out of time.
Well, I'll just give you the best bit then. It's roast beef, bananas, the Medusa Cascade, bang! Rose Taylor, Martha Jones, Donna Noble, TARDIS, Shamble Bobble Dibble Dobble.
Yeah, thank you. Insight. So, and then we get to, as Kat said, the main driving point, the darkest timeline of the episode, where the hostess says, we should throw her out.
And it's the hostess.
I love the tone that she takes when she does this. It is so, I'm trying to figure out how to describe it in a way that makes sense. It's so, visceral and deep, and it's literally like if a goblin said to throw her out. It's just amazing.
And I should point out that anytime that Sky is repeating a character that's not the Doctor, you never see Sky on screen.
Oh, interesting.
Just to make this even more horrific, because you hear her voice saying, well, sometimes you might see her on screen or in the background, but the camera never focuses on Sky apart from when she's with the Doctor.
That would be really clever considering what happens later. But
Oh, yeah.
So, this is where the episode goes really just balls deep fucking nihilist dark. Because I just want you to note, once we get to the end here, this is the 27-minute mark where the hostess says, we should throw her out. Just take a note of that as we go through the next little while here. And the Doctor, of course, is absolutely aghast at this, He is the Doctor. He believes in the inherent good of the human race. And he says, I ask of you, that's a terrible idea. No one's going to do that. Could you honestly kill this woman in cold blood? Yes, they could. Fuck.
Even Dee Dee, who seemed reasonable at this point, is like, I don't like her. I don't want her here. We need to get her out.
They're obviously panicking, and it's a very realistic look at humanity in general.
And you might think that the Professor would be the voice of reason here. No, he's on board with plan throw her out as well.
I think at first he's like, I don't want to, but then he gets pulled over to their side.
Well, yeah, peer pressure.
Yeah, and then poor Jethro. Jethro is like trying to have his own thoughts and opinions, and his parents are like, "No, you're too young. You can't have your own opinion."
God, I hate his parents in this.
I think this is the heart of the episode. This is really like almost just a dark critique of the Doctor in a way. It's like, here's the day being the Doctor does not fucking work. Because David Tennant, for all his amazing speeches and all this stuff about how the indomitable will of the human race, that's me thinking of a Tom Baker speech. But David Tennant has had lots of speeches like that.
What was that line from Men in Black where it's like one person is smart, a group of people is a panicky mess?
Yeah. Mood.
It's basically that.
So everything the Doctor does here to try and defuse the situation, which would work in a typical Doctor Who episode, only makes things worse.
Oh
Like
yeah, they turn on him.
He says, if you want to get to her, you gotta go through me. Fucking fine then!
Yeah.
We'll throw you both out if it comes to it.
Oh yeah, hey, what are you a doctor of?
And-
What's your name? Who
Yeah.
are you?
No one's called
And
John
then we-
Smith.
Yeah, he tries to say his name is John Smith. They don't buy it. And then they're like, "Who are you? Who put you in charge? Why are you trying to take charge of the situation?" And Tennant just yells, "Because I'm clever!"
Yeah.
Oh, so
Wait.
we're stupid then?
Which does not help in the slightest.
I love the way that Russell T Davies takes everything about a standard Doctor Who episode and just tips it on its head.
It's just like, being the Doctor is the worst thing to be today.
He must have had
Oh,
so
yeah.
much fun writing this.
So this
Yeah.
entire scene is just the darkness of the human race made manifest in the fact that the Doctor, David Tennant, is just making things actively worse. But things are about to get worse because they're just saying, "Okay, we're gonna throw the both of them out. That's it. All right, come on, let's go." And then guys, Sky's not mirroring you anymore.
Oh, she's still mirroring. It's just she's only mirroring one person.
The Doctor.
Oh, great, that'll help. And they're like, I knew it. I knew you two were in league. Throw them out, throw them the fuck out. And the Doctor, he goes to Sky. And this is another typical Doctor. You know how in these stories where it's like, oh, I'm the big bad villain, I'm gonna blow up Earth. And he's like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna give you one chance. Let me help you. Leave the people alone. I can help you if you promise not to kill anybody. And so he does the same thing to Sky. He kneels down next to her and he says, look, listen, I don't want you to be thrown out. You're a new, unique life form, clearly. Never before seen. Something that needs to be preserved. I will help you in any way I can. And at that moment, Sky gets ahead.
Yeah. On the words, "Do we have a deal?"
Whoa.
Which is a brilliant bit of phrasing because, like deal with the devil type thing.
And
so
also,
now,
I'm going to do the thing that scares Fres the most, and I'm going to praise David Tennant for his acting right now.
I love the fact that peaked his microphone and we didn't hear all of it.
you get what I was going for.
Yeah.
That's so much
You
better.
can hear, like, the tiniest little bit of it. But holy
Go ahead.
crap, in this bit where the Doctor has now been sort of taken over, he's the one who no longer can move. He's the one who's repeating Sky. And you can see on his face, in his eyes, just pure terror. Because he knows that he can't really do anything right now. There's nothing that will save him. Because he can't speak for himself anymore. She has stolen his voice.
God, David Tennant's facials in the last 10 minutes of this. Oh,
There's
And
even
so-
at one point you can see he's trying so hard to fight it and stop himself from repeating it that you can actually see a little bit of drool on his chin from
Holy
where he's
shit.
trying so hard.
God damn. Yeah. So, Sky now is saying, she's just, it's not like the Sky of before. It's really like a malevolent sort of, I'm free of the terrible curse. And Tennant's just like, hey, of the terrible curse.
yeah. Now he's repeating her.
Yeah.
For the greater good.
And,
God.
and he's doing it.
Sorry.
And Biff's wife immediately is like hugging her and saying, "Oh, you were so scared. Oh, I'm so glad you're okay. Oh my God, my dear. There. I believe you. I trust you. I totally didn't want to murder you 5 minutes ago."
And Dee Dee is the only one. Well, actually, no. Both Dee Dee and the hostess are not quite sure what's going on at this point.
First is
Well,
like,
Dee Dee saw what happened. She is like up in arms, like, don't listen to her. She stole his voice.
Yeah, did
don't
you not
do
see what
it.
she just did?
and and this is where the professor gets the most mean. It's like, you don't know shit, so shut the fuck up.
Yeah, he says the most terrible thing he can say to someone called Dee Dee. Get out of my laboratory!
Oh my fucking God.
Omelette du fromage?
Yeah. And the hostess is like, wait a minute, hang on, this isn't right. But then Sky is like rallying everyone to throw the doctor out. Throw him out.
And
Throw him
Val
out.
is basically goading her husband. She's basically browbeating her husband into throwing himself. Yeah, I'm a man. I'm going to throw him out right now. Thankfully for the doctor, Biff did not work out, so
You can't.
he's just sort of dragging him limply towards the exit.
And the doctor's
Biff,
foot is kind
Biff
of
never got Lorraine, so. You know.
And well, the resolution to this, the clue that helps the hostess realize that this is bad, we actually didn't mention it, but in the opening, way back when, David Tennant, he did his favorite thing, the thing that is signature David Tennant.
Allons-y.
Molto bene, allons-y.
Molto
And
bene
Sky
is
starts
about
saying that.
yeah. Molto bene is about halfway into the episode when Sky first starts repeating.
And allons-y is at the start,
yeah.
I believe. And she's like, "What's that?" It's French. And so when Sky is saying "Molto bene, allons-y," she's like, "It's her. She's the one.
She's the imposter. Throw her out the air vent." That's exactly what the hostess does. She strokes over to the emergency exit. She smashes it. She basically holds Sky in place. She counts out 6, and they're both sucked out of the door. And that is the end of the threat.
The doctor immediately snaps back to himself once Sky is dead.
Oh God! Again, David Tennant. When the door is open, and the light is shining in, and he's just screaming. Amazing.
And fucking Val.
Oh,
Fucking Val sits next to the
This
doctor
woman.
and says, "I said it was her. I said it was her the entire fucking time.
it's the look
Yeah,
he gives
Give
her.
her a look.
You did. You fucking did. And then you went back on it and tried to kill the doctor. You don't try. It's like, it's as much of trying to convince herself that she didn't just almost make a huge mistake.
To me,
as trying to
Val is the
convince
worst
everyone
of them
else.
because she doesn't actively participate in trying to murder the doctor. She instigates it.
Oh, yeah. She's
cheerleading at the
basically the
sideline.
Karen behind it all.
She is a
And
Karen.
yeah, like I said, the look that Tennant just gives Val, like, are you really trying this shit with me right now?
Because credit to the other passengers, when the hostess has thrown Sky out and herself, the professor looks like he can't believe what he's just nearly done. Jeffro is terribly ashamed. Dee Dee, well, she didn't try to throw him out, but when the professor shouted at her and said, you're average at best, so shut up, she basically just shut down herself. That was enough to make her stop. If it weren't for this hostess, everyone could be dead right now.
If it wasn't for the hostess, the doctor would be dead.
Yeah.
And there'd be some unknown thing going around in Sky's body with his voice.
And the saddest and most poignant thing, the doctor asks, what was her name? What was the hostess's name? I don't know, I never asked. Oh.
And here is the ultimate condemnation. This is I think it's around 41, 42 minutes into the episode, where the hostess kills Sky. If the doctor hadn't even come here, well, the horrible outcome he was trying to prevent was we should throw Sky out. Everything he made worse, it ended with the hostess and Sky themselves. Just the doctor's presence actively chained events to make things worse.
But if the doctor wasn't on that shuttle at that time, everyone could have died.
Maybe, but I mean, that's
it's definitely one of those what if sort of moments where
That's
If the
the
Doctor
ambiguity.
had not been there, whose voice would the entity have stolen?
I'm not always a fan of ambiguity, but here it works so well.
It's
I
it's
mean, we
perfect
never learned
ambiguity.
what the fuck this creature was. We don't know what its deal was. We don't know any of its motivation.
We don't even know its
its
name.
origin. We don't even know what
We
it was.
never
It's
see
just so
it. It's a
weird.
shadow outside for about a second. Even the
It's a
case
weird-
files they did for Series 4 just calls it the Midnight Entity, and it's like not official name.
Yeah. So I think that's the whole idea of the episode is that the Doctor made things worse because that's the driving force of like that big part of the episode where he tries to make things better and it just spirals out of fucking control.
That's one way of looking at it.
That's what this is. I think this is a critique of the David Tennant Doctor.
Quite
Yeah.
possibly. And then, of course, a few episodes later, we get the
A
Tunnel
really
Victorious.
nihilistic. It's just this real nihilistic take that's just like the David Tennant Doctor doesn't work, and here's why. And humanity actually is the worst of the worst. And so we end with Donna giving him a hug, and there's this little joke where she repeats Molto Bene, and he's like, "No, don't do that.
Don't
Really,
do that."
Yeah.
And that was Midnight.
Oh my god.
What did we think of Midnight?
I think you should both go before me.
You want to take a cat or shall I?
You go first.
Midnight is a fantastic episode. The scariest Doctor Who episode, I think. And yet, there's a darkness to it. A real lack of optimism to it. It's fine to do once in a while, but it's not my peak Doctor Who. You know how I like my utopian idealism, my hopeful bullshit. And this just cuts into that entirely. It's very good at cutting into that entirely, but it's not what I will want the show to be all the fucking time, compressing shit. Doctor Who is a hopeful show, and sometimes you can show the less hopeful side of it. It's fantastic acting, great condemnation of both David Tennant and the inherent goodness of humanity, because, sometimes humanity can be the real monsters, as nearly every zombie movie ever made will tell you, for example. But, fuck, it's a solid Doctor Who story. I can't deny that. Even if I'm not down with the whole nihilistic angle at large. So, yeah, good pick. Cat?
Midnight is what I would call a showcase of the RTD era. It definitely has that darkness that he seems to like a whole lot. And it's also an incredibly, incredibly good and well-written episode of David Tennant's run. Definitely one of the hallmarks of the era. And I would say that if you ever decide to watch this, watch it more than once. And each time you watch it, follow a new person. Because you can see like this whole gambit of what people go through. Especially people like Biff, where if you follow him, he goes from, like the goofy, kind of horrible dad who's, thinks that he knows what's best because he's the patriarch. And then, him being goaded by Val and listening to his wife and, trying to do all this stuff and just give it multiple watches. You'll find something new every single time you do it. It's just a fantastic episode and I love it. I'm terrified of it, but I love it.
That's it. Okay, Ray, you're up.
So it'll come as no surprise to anyone that I absolutely adore this episode. I've been wanting to talk about this for a long, long time, and I'm so glad that we finally got to do it. And it ties into the whole that Russell T Davies coming back thing. The acting throughout is superb, but Leslie Sharp, as I say, gives one of the performances of the modern era of Doctor Who. How she did that, yes, I know she was aided by the screens, but still, it takes a special kind of actress to pull that off, and pull it off convincingly. I mean, just repeating everyone's lines could come across as hokey and ham-fisted. It doesn't. It's one of the creepiest things I think Doctor Who's ever done. And you don't see anything. You just hear the voice and see the character, but you don't see the person controlling the strings. You don't see the puppet master. You just see the puppet. It is so well done. And I don't know if I don't think Jerry has watched CSI very much.
Watched like the original way back.
Yeah,
in the
I think
day.
Kat has watched it.
I've watched CSI, yeah.
There is an
original
episode that's a
series.
bit similar to this one, set on a plane.
Yes, I remember that
Oh.
one.
I think I actually
That
saw
one
that
was sad.
Unfriendly
Oh.
Skies, where a passenger dies on a flight, and you think that he was because he was going through his own problems, and you think he was going to open the door and kill everyone. So they basically self-defense. They killed him to save everyone else, and then it mentions that's not what happened. But then they don't get charged anyway. And at the end of
Yeah,
it, they're
to
like,
put a very, very long story short, spoilers for this CSI episode.
yeah,
It turns out that he's actually incredibly sick,
yeah.
and that caused him to act out. And so people on the plane get so infuriated by him, they beat him to death.
It's even
Jesus
worse than
Christ.
that. That's their first theory, but that turns out to not be true.
Oh God.
I'm not going to spoil it, but at the end of it, the team's like saying, what would you, if you had been there, would you have done it? Would you have been able to kill him? And then he said, what about you, Grissom? Well, not one person on that flight asked the man if he was okay. If just one person had taken the time to say, are you feeling all right? This whole thing could have been prevented. And that's how it ends. And isn't that just basically midnight? Isn't that just basically midnight? If one person had spoken up, other than the Doctor, then Sky and the hostess didn't have to die.
Yeah.
Insert quote from Men in Black once again.
It's just a wonderful dissection of the human psyche, and taking these normally mild-mannered, ordinary, normal people and putting them into this horrific situation, and how do they react? And the answer is terribly, for the most part.
Yeah, it's not like that's true to life, like if we were ever in, say, like, oh, I don't know, a pandemic, certainly there wouldn't be all these selfish people who would be only thinking of themselves and tell other people to screw off.
Yeah. Speaking
Hey, Kat.
of which, then,
Hey, Kat,
Oh,
you
yeah,
got a
it's time to
Doctor
hurt
Who
some
episode for us?
Sorry, what?
Hey, Kat, you got a Doctor Who episode for us?
I do. And you know what? You've already seen it.
Oh.
I've seen every. I've
No,
seen every Doctor Who
I know
episode,
what she's
so
picked. I approve.
I don't know what she's picked. We'll see.
Do you really, Rain? Do you?
Well, you're saying I've seen it, so I think you're referring to a trailer.
The trailer.
No, we're talking about the next story that Kat's gonna pick.
No, I know what I'm talking about. Go on, Kat, reveal it.
Anyways, next time on Doctor Who Reviews, we're going back to the sort of beginning. We're doing Rose.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Fine.
that's what I thought you were going to say.
I didn't.
No,
think
it's
that
not.
No, originally I thought you were going to say
I think
Turn
that's what
Left.
you
When
were
you said it
gonna
wasn't a trailer, I realised, oh, what else have we seen? Yeah, of course we've seen Rose. Yeah, Rose.
That's a good episode. That's a good episode.
Oh, that means we have to talk about him.
Well, we
Yeah.
can, yeah. Well, we can deal with that,
I mean, that's
a
fine
year
because
ago,
what happens to him in the story, we get to have a good laugh about that.
You know,
I mean, look.
it's
a
like we
year-
can't avoid him forever. Eventually, we're going to talk about.
I'm
a
fine
year
with it.
ago we were talking. A year ago we were talking about. I think we can.
Yeah. Plus, after me, there's just Frez, and then we won't have to talk about this sort of thing for a very long time, depending on how many episodes there are in the next series coming up.
Yeah, because we've got
Because-
some news.
Oh God! Oh God! They're here. They're in the house.
So-
Chibnall's caught me. Season 13. I know season 13 exists, and he's pissed.
We went from having absolutely no information about Series 13 to a lot of information, but the way it was done was so odd.
Oh, this fucking shit.
Everybody panic! Panic! People know about Series 13!
2319!
We got a 2319!
Oh God! Oh God!
But anyway.
I want to put on air a snarky little analogy I made. Chris Chibnall is to Series 13 as the great architect Cro-Agnon was to Paradise Towers.
Yeah.
My perfect show! Nobody must know about the secret twists within, or I'll kill them first!
Oh my god, you're right.
I'll delete the entire channel to prevent them from learning anything!
And that's what happened. So there was some viral marketing taking place. Last weekend, broadcasts of BBC One were briefly interrupted by the Doctor saying, what was it, can you hear me? or they're coming, or something like that. And there was
Good
another one of the clip of Vindar from the trailer going, whoa. People that don't know Doctor Who would not know what the hell was going on here.
What the hell was that?
It was blink and you'll miss it stuff. It was pathetic, quite frankly.
Chris Chibnall wishes he was airing Blink again.
And then
Oh, wait.
they put a holograph of a ship in Liverpool.
I'd be careful if I was you, Frez, because they have said that the Weeping Angels are coming back, so he might try to redo Blink.
He might.
God, you're right.
He might.
But, well, the hologram thing, I don't even know if that was real or not. It's like the validity of it is up in the air.
Well, apparently it wasn't, because somebody said, here's the sky above Albert Dock, and it's completely clear. So I don't know what the hell's going on.
I'm telling you, that was the real alien, and then somebody was like, shit, we got to cover this up. What's going on? Doctor Who's going to be coming out soon? Well, okay, we're all going to immediately be killed now that we know that.
And then
but,
on Friday,
we'll
it got really weird, because Doctor Who's social media went completely dark.
They didn't go completely dark. They like almost deleted themselves.
Yeah.
One way to prevent spoilers, delete the fucking show.
And it was all building up to Saturday, where
I will say, kudos to the Big Finish Twitter, which would just like went off on them. It was funny.
So does that mean we're now the premier Doctor Who media account? Sweet.
Honestly, just follow Big Finish in general. They're really funny.
Give that intern a raise. Finally on Saturday, a billboard appeared in Liverpool in a shopping centre with a telephone number ending in 3110. And if you rang that, you actually got a message from Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor saying they're coming, which probably scared the shit out of some people who didn't know what was going on. But
yeah.
And then finally, it was all revealed that the social media came back, and a 17-second clip of, again, breaking into broadcast, but this time she actually got to say words. You could see, I think, Yaz and Dan in the background of the TARDIS. And we get a reveal. 31st of October, Doctor Who, Flux.
Oh, God.
It really
Doctor Who, Flux Capacitor. This time we're ripping off Back to the Future.
It really is a Trial of a Time Lord Part 2, isn't it?
It pretty much is.
The season even had its own subtitle, for God's sakes.
And we got some reveals. I mean, this is shit. I already glanced at some, like, I accidentally happened to see some spoilery returning bullshit, but it was confirmed in this trailer. We have 2 returning legacy Doctor Who antagonists.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to be spoiled, you can.
Oh, we have 2 returning antagonists? You mean the continuity and the timeline?
Yeah, mood. But also, the Santarans and the Weeping Angels.
Oh, they were known about beforehand.
Which, yeah, I mean, Santarans, yes. I mean, if by some miracle they get Dan Starkey back, maybe that'll work, but I mean,
that was the spaceship that was supposedly above the Albert Dot, but it wasn't. But that was supposedly the spaceship.
The Weeping Angels, well, it's gonna. We did a whole thing on the Weeping Angels.
I am very nervous about what he does with the Weeping Angels.
Oh, Christ. He's gonna, like Kat snarkily said, it's probably gonna be Blink too. Because Chibnall era doesn't know how to, get off the Tennant era's
dick.
Also, watch them air the first episode on Halloween night and not make it remotely scary. Just watch them do that.
Yeah, I mean...
Oh yeah, it's there's no way it's going to be scary.
And people have criticized the air date, Halloween night, where the children will be trick-or-treating and the adults will be at Halloween parties.
I can understand that. I mean, at the same time...
Also, I would like to go ahead and make a prediction for the next series once Rains finishes his thought.
I was going to say, they had to air it at some point. Just be glad that we're getting it at all. And Halloween night is a Sunday, so that does mean we're going to be moving to Mondays for recording from now on.
Well, after the next 2 shows.
Yeah.
Because Cat gets Rose, I get whatever the hell I pick, and then you get screwed because 6 weeks of Chibnall.
Hey.
I mean,
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's fine because, well, no, it's not fine, but I'll just pretend it's fine.
Oh, Rain.
It'll be okay. We will all somewhat survive.
It's all right. Everything is just fine.
Thanks, Hibiki.
But anyways, I'd like to make a prediction for the next upcoming series. My prediction is that we won't actually get the 13th Doctor. He's just going to take episodes of the 10th Doctor, paste her head in there someplace, and call that a day.
Oh my god!
Blink! Midnight! Suntaran Stratagem! Hey, look, it's Doctor Who, just like you remember it in 2008.
There's an amazing tweet. It's like, oh my god, guys, I can't believe that the entirety of Series 13 leaked on the iPlayer. It's like, episode 2, the Doctor kills a child. Whoops.
Yeah. God almighty. So, yeah, in, 3 weeks, we're going to be talking about new Doctor Who again.
I
Holy
can't
shit.
wait.
I can
Hey.
wait. I can extremely wait. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
but-
we're perfectly happy to wait. I mean, after this, we're going to have to wait until.
So
like,
there's pressure on you then,
2026.
Fresno, to make the last one you picked for the time being a good one.
Oh God, no! I'm gonna pick some Gonzo bullshit. Rubber Suit Monsters eating a capitalist or something.
That can still be a good one, just one that's entertaining. Like
Oh, I have something in mind.
one that
could
we can
be,
enjoy before perhaps we don't enjoy anything for the next 1.5 months.
Oh, I have something in mind. I don't know if I'm gonna go full tilt on that or if another better option.
You
will
might
present
actually hear
itself.
3 people tap out in the middle of the podcast in 3 weeks' time.
Brainiac, where can you find us, lovely people?
You can find us lovely people on Twitter at RefusedDoctor. You can find Fresno at Freezing Inferno, Cats at Concave Usurper, and I am at Rainiac Domaniac. And Krista Mattia, who you should buy her book, Back to the Devour, available on all good online bookstores.
And also buy Sean Dillon's book, One Must Imagine Scot-Free Happy, while you're at it.
Yeah, and you can find those lovely people at CrystalWolf94 and at DevCross2000, respectively. And I'd just like to thank Sean from the bottom of my heart for stepping in for me last week. He did a fantastic job, and he's welcome back anytime.
Hell yeah. I would also like to plug my Halloween blog, 16 Screams for Halloween, at fresnosravingrants.blogspot.com. Today, as of recording, I talked about Return to Oz and made Michael Hoovian very happy.
Yes, you did.
I did.
Cat sometimes streams video games at twitch.tv/concave usurper, and you can send us an email, nice or otherwise, at goexterminateyourself@gmail.com. And I think that takes care of everything.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so in that case, thank you for listening to us talk about Midnight. And again, if you haven't seen it, please do watch it. You owe it to yourself to experience this at least once.
We told them not to go away and watch it, so I think we're...
Yeah,
If you didn't
Yeah.
watch it,
everyone's going to
that's
listen
on you
to
now.
us.
Thank you for listening to us.
Thank you for listening to us. And we'll see you next time for Rose.
Yay!
Until then, bye for now. So we start off then on the beautiful planet of Midnight, and with Donna refusing to go with the Doctor. Good start.
We start off with Rainiac forgetting to introduce his guests.
Thank you. Okay, I'll cut that and
You know, I think he's mad about the fact that he wasn't in the previous episode.
Blooper reel.
no, it's nothing to do with that. I genuinely forgot. Thank you. We'll go back to that.